good morning, good evening, good afternoon. It's almost 9 p.m. for me right now. And what am I supposed to be doing? My schoolwork. My final visual arts submission of the comparative study. Of the 15 slides, I have 14. Surprisingly, how come I didn't go over the limit, although I did have a crash out where I had a miscommunication with my teacher because I'm the only SL student in the class. And she keeps forgetting this. So I just thought I don't have a limit. I don't have a limit, guys. So I went over the limit, but then I cut it down, so it's fine now. But the point is, the submission is tomorrow. I don't think my work was ever read fully. I don't think my teacher has a full idea of what I'm talking about there, and if I'm even staying on topic, which I'm pretty sure I'm not. And what am I supposed to do? I'm supposed to reread it finally. Like, this is the final draft. I'm supposed to read it and see if it all makes sense. Add a little bit of more visuals and citations. God save us all. But I'm not going to do that because I've already been procrastinating for an hour. Then I worked for an hour. Then I made matcha. I made too much. I had two glasses on my table. No, I had just one because I drank it. And I made a to-do list on the weekly planner I stole from my sister. And I worked for 30 more minutes. And now I'm supposed to start reading it, but I'm not excited to do that. And what am I excited to do? Yes, you're right. Talk to you guys. So that's why I'm here. Today's episode is going to be kind of a lazy one. It was a last minute, I want to do this instead of this one because I had something very exciting planned, but I need to do more planning for this one. And even though this one is not really planned either, I feel like it's more fluent and you're just going to try to follow the train of my thought of train. We're not going to get into that. I'm so excited, it's 2026. I'm actually not. I'm very scared. I cried on a New Year's partially because I didn't do any planning. And I felt like I was letting my younger self down because we always took New Year's with this is a big deal. We have to make sure we're organized. I remember 2 years ago, it took me a week and a half or 2 weeks to organize my life fully, to be like, okay, this is what I want to achieve. This is what I want to do. This is going to be my lifestyle after the 31st of December. And this year, I was just consumed with studying. I was just heavily, I don't want to say depressed because I don't want to spread any misconceptions, but the way I've been feeling about school, about future, and how just stressed and unmotivated and just like the school sucked out the entire life out of me. And I was talking with my grandma recently, and she was telling me how it must be so exciting, and last year of school isn't supposed to be. It's kind of hard to allow myself to do other stuff, not just school, and it's hard to, in general, allow myself to spread out more and think beyond the borders that the school had established, beyond the frames, I don't know how you call it. And that honestly made me feel very, very down. And another reason why I cried on New Year's was because I was feeling like I messed up 2025. I started messing it up since school started in September, or was it August? I think it was September. Since then, I felt like all the progress that I did kind of went down the hill, because in my last year, so not 2025, I feel like 2024 and a bit of 2025, I was being the best version of myself possible, even though looking back now, I'm like, okay, you were totally not healthy being productive this much and doing this much and having so many projects going on that you literally Like, when did you rest, girl? Like, this is the shared problem between me and my past self. Hopefully not my future self. But the things that I was doing and achieving made me feel alive. The amount of hobbies I had, the amount of interest, the amount of cool topics of discussions I could have. I just felt that my soul was very expanded and I could just be myself in the most authentic way possible. But then, because I got stressed out about school so much, I kind of abandoned this idea of I want to be a balanced individual, not consciously, obviously. It kind of like led to it because I started prioritizing school more and more because the pressure grew. People around me started to freak out more. The teachers were being very tense about it. So it was kind of hard to protect myself from all this kind of like negative and worrisome energy. So obviously I started slowly to incorporate the importance of school and forgetting who I was. So I was sitting there, like I literally left the room with people on New Year's. I sat in the bathroom and I just had a moment of existential crisis because I was like, bro, I'm not even being myself. I'm really, really not being myself. What was the last time I did anything for myself? And I don't even mean in terms of like, oh, took a day off, slept the entire day. I mean, purely did something like record a podcast, journal, read for fun. And it really made me realize that even though a year ago my grades weren't the best, I felt smart. I was doing progress and I knew that even though the grades don't really show, it's not like they don't really show. It was mostly like if we judge purely focusing on the grades, obviously they weren't the best. But when we zoom out and we look at what other things I've been doing, podcasting, I was doing YouTube, I was recording my short film, I was trying to figure out and navigate how to make friends, how to build friendships. I was making new friends, I was having new experiences, I was trying to make my relationship with my parents better. I was doing so much, and all of it is escaping my mind. I was reading, I was working out constantly. I was so heavy on self-promotion on my Instagram, making posts, content creation. I had a job in content creation as well. That was all very, very insane. Plus, I was navigating 2 breakups. No, 1, 2. As if 1 wouldn't be enough. That was all insane. And I think because I was so everywhere, doing so many different things at once, it really made studying and school seem small and not important. I'm not saying not important in terms of like, oh, this is so silly, like, why would I be doing this? No, I recognize my privilege, and the amount of times I mentioned this on this podcast is quite insane, but I do want to convey my point that school is such a fucking privilege. I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be the person that I am right now without school. And obviously there's downsides. 2025 was the first year I actually started to realize, hey, wait, school makes me feel like shit, actually. Like, nah, I feel like before that I was really, really like embracing the school system, and I would feel better than other kids because I wouldn't be complaining about how school is useless, because obviously it's not. There's so many people without education, so why would you say it's stupid if you're literally privileged? But right now, when I've had direct instances of school failing me, of teachers not being there for me, not doing the bare minimum, of teachers not being there, period. Just like we don't have a teacher for certain subjects. I am currently self-teaching myself the entire chemistry syllabus because we just don't have a teacher. And I don't want to hear about it. Like, I can't be complaining even more about it. It just like so fucking disorganized, and like I just can't go there anymore. But like the whole point is school sucks. School sucks, and the grading system sucks. It's really, really grading what it wants to grade, what is gradable. If you go beyond the subject, they wouldn't recognize you. I just can't. I'm just going to get very upset. And I remember having like a huge breakdown after I graduated art school. So that's why I took visual arts, because I felt like I want to explore more of myself through art now. And I did visual arts before in secondary school. Obviously, I did art school. Like, I feel like I have the knowledge, and my grades sucked because what are you even grading me on? Visual arts, DPIB? Tell me, why am I supposed to make art and then write about it? If I was a good writer, which I am, I'm not saying I'm not, I would be doing English HL, which I am doing. But like, just talking for those who are not strong in writing, why am I here in visual arts class? Knowing that I'm so good at expressing myself visually over written material, and you were forcing me to write so much. That's a little bit frustrating, but okay. Anyways, this whole experience, and especially like the highlight of New Year's crying session, made me realize that looking back, I don't really care what my grades were in the past. Like now, once I was like looking back and being like, fuck. I'm really disappointed because of those grades. Like, obviously I'm sad because I could have done better, but I think the only way I could have done better is if I cut off every single person I know and shut down and had no hobbies. And I did this low-key in September, November, October. And I went to see my best friend, and I literally almost cried every single day. And she asked me like, oh, what do you think? Like, how do you think you would feel when you come back, like, to visit me next time? And I'll be like, I feel like I'll be worse than I am right now, because all of it was going so downhill. And I was not realizing that all of this was happening was just because I made school the priority, and I absolutely abandoned the most important part about me, my core, my creativity, my authenticity, my stuff. Like, I don't want to say I was meant to do just one thing, because who am I to tell what I was meant to do? I don't believe about being meant to do. And whenever someone says, oh, you were not meant to do this, it becomes my personal challenge to prove you wrong. And I will prove you wrong. This already happened in science and chemistry, and this is about to happen in math. Like, I will prove you wrong, believe me. And I'm not doing this to kind of like go back, like come back to this person who would say something, oh, you're just not meant to like ever do this. No, I'm doing this for my personal good, and maybe I'm misinterpreting this, but the whole point is that I don't think it's healthy for me to just abandon the biggest part of myself and try to be this someone. And even if I achieve these 45 points, but by the time I will achieve it, I will be still feeling the way I was feeling a few months ago in October, I wouldn't be proud. I think I made quite a lot of progress. I think, like studying wise, since September 2025 to like now, hopefully. No, actually, period. I did. Like in the beginning of school year, all the teachers were impressed. Like I could tell, we had a conversation with them. They were impressed. They were like, you had so much progress. And then right before the New Year's, I was talking with the teachers. They were like, oh yeah, did something happen? Like, you were so excited. You were so like driven in the beginning. What's now? What's now? Well, how do I say? I followed the fucking advice of just doing school, of prioritizing it to the fucking point where I didn't have anything. I didn't socialize. I didn't have hobbies. I didn't do anything but study, to the point where I would come back home, I would fall into my bed, and I wouldn't be able to do anything. Just like anything. Like I couldn't even like imagine myself doing like any hobbies, anything, because I was just so done. The school was what I was living for, and it literally broke me. And imagine the amount of shame and guilt I was feeling crying on that New Year's night, knowing that my past self knew better. My 17-year-old self, my 16 and 17-year-old self, also I guess 15-year-old, I think just 16 and 17-year-old knew better than I do currently. a few years later. She knew better. She knew better going in grade 11 that I am not going to be those kind of people who just pause their personality, pause their authenticity for the last 2 years of school and become the academic weapon. She said that we're not going to do this. We're going to be an academic weapon and we're going to have a balanced life. And by the time you finish school, people around you are going to be like, yes, I finished school. You're going to say, yes, I finished school. I also tried this. I tried podcasting, I tried YouTubing, failed at those, tried something else, failed at those. By the time of you finishing school, you're going to have done so much. You're going to be ahead of those people, even if they had a better grade than you did. Because the whole point of life is not grades. Or at least I really, really want to believe this. Every time people say this to me, I'm like, but what about universities? Because they purely judge you for grades. Fuck that university then, to BH. So my 17-year-old self knew that this is the last thing me and her would want to do. Like, she, like, how did she know this? How, I literally was the academic weapon. School was always the priority. I definitely did have lots of stuff going on the side at all times of no matter what period, life period you choose for my life. I would always be doing school and something else, but I never took it to the as far as I took it in 2024, 2025. So how did she know that this what would make me feel like myself, like being a human, like the best version of myself? Because I do believe that was like the most recent prime that I had when I had school and I had hobbies and I had interests and I was trying out so many new things. Like, that was flipping crazy. So the whole point of this monologue is that she knew better than I did in the beginning of grade 12, which is like so impressive, but also so upset because wasn't I supposed to grow? Wasn't I supposed to be like, duh, okay, the work's moving on. Why did I go back and still did this thing that every single, I feel like, IB student does, where they just forget about who they are, put everything on pause and be like, yes, I will pick up journaling after I graduate. Yes, I will pick up my interest when I graduate. Yes, I will try this new thing when I'm graduate. Hell no. I want to graduate and say, yes, I also tried this. I want to graduate and feel like those years were expanding my character, expanding my soul, making me more interesting, making me more educated. I want to expand, and the way me focusing just on school made me feel was not okay. And that is the goal for 2026. Even though it's literally like 3 months of school left, I don't want to waste any time. I already wasted lots of time. I am smarter in terms of studying. Maybe those few months of very, very shitty feelings was worth it because now I know how to bump up my grades, but also how to navigate my interests on the side and hopefully not to burn out. This is the story, and that's why we're here, and that's why we're going this episode, and that's why I'm going to be talking about my goals for 2026. First of all, let me say that 2026 does not feel real again because I didn't do any planning and it just feels so weird. But also, I don't have any association with 2026. 2025, I had a feeling going to be a good year. Was it a good year? I think so. 2026 sounds like a mystery. It sounds very, very mysterious. Like, I don't know what to expect, but I feel like at the end of the day, it's going to be a fantastic year. And at the end of 2026, I will be spiritually looking back onto my 2025 self, myself from the end of 2025, and I'll be saying, girl, the things that happened, you wouldn't believe. Like, I hope I will send my current self in shock by how much stuff, positive, obviously, stuff is going to happen. This is the year I graduate school. This is the year I go to university. This is the year I'm making more friendships. This is the year I finally, hopefully, understand what the adults mean by being like university is so different from school, because what are you gatekeeping from me? Like, I'm actually very, very interested to see how it's gonna go, and also to see what university pressure is like, because why are you also gatekeeping that? But also, like, every single year everybody says, oh, next year is gonna cook you, next year is gonna fry you. No, it doesn't. Even when it did, I'm looking back and it's like, it wasn't that bad. Obviously, it was that bad, but I think it's gonna be fine. But anyways, oh my gosh, let's get into it. As usually, as this is like a second or third year of me doing this, this is by now a tradition. I start Notion, and I will forget about it, like, definitely by the end of March. But it's always so fun to do it. So this is again what I did this year. I started Notion and I wanted to keep it. I made it so authentic. I was so happy about it because, you know how on your wallpaper on the computer, you have files and you could change the icon of a file to any picture you like, and there's a Pinterest version of this where people like putting like images without background. Like, they could put like actual objects like a mug or like a snack or a plushie toy or anything, basically, like, as an icon for a file. And then they have a wallpaper, like the computer screen, and it just filled with different bunch of objects and it looks so static. So I was like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna do this for Pinterest. Oh no, for Notion. And that's what I did. And I have basically files in which I will soon describe all of my goals, but it's all very image based because I feel like images hold a very huge power for manifestation. Text as well, which I still have to get to, but I'm just glad I have visuals of some sort. So even if I don't have text yet, I can look at the visual and be like, oh yeah, that's like, I know what I meant, even though like it's still super vague and I should write text underneath each image. But anyways, let's just get into it. I'm not sure how well I described that. I wish I could put an image somehow. Maybe I will post it somewhere, Instagram. Anyways, even if I don't, check out my Instagram because stuff is about to happen. Okay, so the first thing that I have is university studies, because why not? Oh my gosh, I don't have a reason for this. I just really, really wanted to talk about university, to manifest everything I could about university. Let me tell you what. My goal right now, I already applied in some universities through UCAS in October, got rejected from a few, got accepted with conditional offer for one so far, and I'm still waiting for 2 more replies. But I don't think I'm gonna go there because it's so expensive, but I'm still gonna apply for scholarships and see how that's gonna go, because who knows. Otherwise, I kind of put like every like study related stuff under the university studies, because what I'm doing right now in school is supposed to lead up to university, so I feel like it counts. So from the first image I basically have is just like math worksheets that have like excellent and 100 mark on them, because I was having like an inner monologue about how I was told that I'm not a science person. And well, guess who can say comfortably right now that she is a science person, because she proved it to herself and she worked so hard. Yes, me, thank you. So more than that, I was told that I'm not a math person, and I was told this since a very young age, and this is a very common family joke, which is not a joke. So I don't know, it just pissed me off knowing that I'm about to graduate school and my math grades are still not the best, and these jokes are still relevant, that I'm not a math person. So I just kind of went onto this hunt for math knowledge, and we're gonna see how that's gonna go. I feel like I am definitely capable of achieving it, and I'm not even saying like I want to have the best grades in math. I just wanna to some level understand it and graduate knowing that yes, I did prove it to myself that I could do math. It's just because like I've been told so many times that I can't, and because I don't think I had very inspiring teachers. I know teachers play a huge role, so hopefully me turning to self-study is going to be beneficial. I know it will. It's just the mindset. I have 100% confidence in this, that if I'm going to put my mind to it, which I already did, it's going to happen. So, period. The second image I have is basically balance within the university study. So I feel like we pretty much covered that. I just really, really want to be the balanced person I was a year ago and never disappoint myself as much as I did, at least as I feel like I did on the New Year's, like thinking back and knowing that, oh my gosh, I just completely abandoned myself and consumed myself, become so corrupted with studying. So that's the goal. And then I have my IB diploma predicted grades. I'm not gonna say anything about this because I don't want to jinx it. Like, I feel like that's not the point of this episode, but I'm not gonna, because it also stresses me out just talking about this. Especially about grades, and because I know grades don't define me. I know rationally, but do you believe this? Do you believe this, little viewer? I'm not sure if you do, and I don't know. I'm just not gonna talk about it. Okay, for the university part, the most exciting thing is I'm gonna be applying to, let me think, global perspectives on gender, human rights, and justice. And let me tell you how excited I am. It's the first year they're running this program. They never ran it before. And its course literally consists of feminist studies, a little bit of sexuality studies, human rights, obviously. I think even something to do with environment, which I'm so excited to do. I feel like for a few years, I've been really ignoring the worry that I had about the environment, and I was trying to dissociate from it, which is a very bad thing to do. So I'm really happy about this aspect of of this course, and I'm just so excited because they also work closely with the UN goals. It's literally says on the description of the course, and they have a little picture of UN goals, and I was like, oh my gosh, that's literally so me because I'm obsessed with UN. It's the best thing that could have happened to me. So I'm just so happy. I feel like everything is lining up. So I have it on my vision board to apply and get accepted. And the deadline is actually in like 10 days. So I better start the application process. But I'm so excited about this course. And oh my gosh, like I can't. I'm just so excited. And maybe I'm going to do like another episode just talking about it, or when I get to know the course, when I get accepted, how that's going to go. Because, oh my gosh, like I just know it's going to become a personality. Like the things we're going to learn there, I will definitely be talking them on this podcast because I'm obsessed with psychology. There was a moment, and I still think I'm going to apply to psychology as well. I am obsessed with psychology. I've been studying it for almost 2 years at school now. So every time I record an episode, I have to talk about psychology in some way. So I'm so happy. And I just know that feminism is going to make it here. And we're going to talk about lots of interesting stuff. Moving on to the next tab that I have is fashion. I'm actually a bit upset because I've been feeling very confused about my fashion. It's been officially, I think, 2 years since I started properly experimenting with fashion. And for this whole 2 years, it's been the constant area of my life that I would be 100% satisfied with. I feel like I would be expressing myself in the most honest way. And it was just very me-centered. I didn't care, still don't, about trends, what's trendy, what's not. I didn't care about what others thought. I just did what I liked, and that's what I really am inspired about. Like, what do you mean my younger self would be wearing, sorry, horrendous outfits? And she wouldn't care if people looked at her because she knew that this one makes her happy. Like, this is not even adorable. This is inspiring. This is, oh my gosh, you're my hero. And thank you so much for doing this. And I'm just so happy that she was so focusing on herself that she didn't care. And that's literally why I'm here today. And I hope I am still doing this in some way, even if not. Like, I feel like, oh my gosh, I don't know. A part of me wants to become really, really alternative in fashion. I dressed up as emo for my friend's birthday. and it's literally my profile picture on WhatsApp, and I can't get over it. Like the urges that I get to start dressing up like that again and buy black lipstick and fake eyelashes and wear all black is insane. I might do this. But I'm too scared to do this at school. Maybe I'm gonna do, I don't know. I know we're gonna see, but there's definitely like lots of like thinking that must be done. And I really, really have to think before committing. So, okay, wait. Another thing, like my sister was just talking to me and it reminded me of how crazy it is because my sister is very into sewing. Like she does stuff constantly, and I feel like we really, really switched because I saw her doing creative writing over the Christmas break. And I was literally sitting next to her sewing my shirt. So I was like, bro, did we switch? That's so cool. Oh, and also the idea that I forgot to say before, like I started with it, but I kind of drifted off. Me being a year ago, looking at people making clothes because my friend was making her own clothes. And I was like, there is no way I'm going to be doing this because I know how to sew, but I don't know how to sew, huh? Okay, I don't care. It just like, I don't think I'm doing it properly. I feel like it could fall apart. It has a very big chance of falling apart. But somehow I'm just doing it with the confidence that it wouldn't. And I wonder if I should approach every single like area of my life this way. Because yes, I made a couple of like pieces. One of them my sister's wearing because I made it and it was really cute, but it's not my style. So, and she's so happy about it. And for my friend's birthday, I literally made a skirt out of 2 shirts. It was a bubble skirt. I stole the idea from Instagram or Pinterest like a while ago. Like I knew how to do this entire time. I just didn't have the opportunity to wear the mini skirt, and it was like a girl's party. So I was like, hell yeah, no man, I'm wearing that skirt. So I wore the skirt, and the amount of compliments that I got being like, why the hell are you not into fashion? You should apply into fashion college. And I'd be like, guys, you have no idea that I don't know like how to make this stuff. Like I can like use the pins and roll things up and it's gonna look very, very fashionable. But do I really know how to sew it up? Not really, but I guess it's not stopping me, and I'm honestly very excited about this mindset and proud of it because why would it stop me? And we're gonna see where it's gonna go. Like as long as it holds, I'm gonna wear it. And it's just very, very cool to say, oh yeah, I made this. Where is it from? Ha, I made this, guys. So that's the mindset. Moving on, reading. I'm so happy because I started doing this habit already before Christmas, before the New Year, sorry. Before the New Year's, I thought of this and I was like, why would I wait to this date that is valuable because people put in it value. So without people, there is no value in this date instead of starting now because that just sounds silly to me. I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. So I just started doing it because I realized I'm leading a feminist club in my school. So there's a feminist club outside of my school that I'm a part of, but the one that I'm leading is at my school. And we were having like a session about gender norms, and obviously I had to mention men don't cry trend. So I was talking about this, and when I was prepping the presentation and the games, I actually stumbled upon the fact that back in the past, in the history, man crying was a thing that you would do on a daily basis. If man cried in public, it would be seen as the most manly thing one could do. It would be a boy's way to show off, like to cry in public. Man would cry about different reasons, obviously like the political ones like war and death, but also as simple as missing girlfriends. It's all described in the literature. Oh, I'm not gonna remember which time period, but the whole point is studies show that male tears are recorded across global history at all parts of the world, or at least at most of them, which was very surprising to me. And I started reading this article and other multiple articles, and one of them started saying that, like, which is really, really ironic way to start. They were like, because women are X time likely to cry, and I think women cry 4 times longer than men, like, wouldn't this make it a biological thing. Maybe it's not cultural. Maybe it is biological. Maybe like we are like blowing an elephant out of the fly. Like it's definitely biological. And then the article goes into the historical part of it and looks at different cultures and looks at different time periods. And in the past, men were crying. And then it's actually was not noted. There was not like a smooth transition of when men stopped crying, but the hint that they made was something to do with capitalism, when men have to go to work. Crying there would just be not as effective as crying at any other place, because it would just take away the hours that were dedicated to work. So it was kind of like slowly started to get labeled as useless. So you couldn't cry at work, and work is like where you spend your most time and so you would slowly start suppressing it, and soon it would evolve into something where men are not allowed to cry, and it just publicly shamed. So that's what we are now at. And that made me realize that if I was a man, or as I am right now, if I didn't know the history, if I didn't know that men used to cry and that was okay and that was praised and that was the thing that they were doing, I could be so wrong about everything right now. If I didn't know this and I was a guy, I could legit be, yes, I shouldn't cry because that's the way my biology is, but that's not the way your biology is, little boy. That's really, really not. So it really made me it made me clock it. Like, all of the times my parents and the teachers would be telling me or like other kids that history is so important. Now, like right before the New Year's, I realized it and I was like, okay, I do want to know more, but I don't want to like properly like take a university course and study history. So I started delving more into micro learning, and I feel like I'm doing a pretty good job involving social media in it, because that's where I spend some of my time. So whenever on social media I see something that is interesting, or I come across recent news from the news, I really, really have to put an effort, look it up, read a few articles, because articles are biased, news are biased. So I make sure that I read at least two, or if I read one, I make sure that I Google stuff on the side to make sure that I'm getting the most out of it and educating myself on what's happening. I have an app where I track every day that I read, because I feel like it's fun. I track whenever I do sports there as well. And I really do count this as proper reading, because I'm educating myself. I'm reading articles just because I can't say I read X amount of pages. It doesn't mean that I didn't read. I'm still expanding my horizons. I'm still reading. I'm still getting to know stuff. And like the history part of it, that's the most important part. I'm educating myself because being uneducated means it's so easy to control you. Not knowing the history, it means it's so easy to control you. And I don't want to be that person. So that's it for the reading part. And I'm also very, very excited about to see how the university's reading is going to go, because everybody's like, oh, you have to read so much in university, especially if you have a humanitarian course. So I'm very, very excited to see how that's going to go. Moving on, female friendships. I'm so excited. So this is the year that I'm really going to work on my female friendships and nurture them and put all of the love cravings that I'm having right now, and just the idea that I want to be loved and I want to love someone so much. I've been really confused about these sensations, because I'm like, oh my gosh, I wish I was in a relationship right now. I really want to love someone. But then I'm like, why am I directing this in a direction of a romantic love? Why can't it be platonic? Why can't I just show up for my friends more? I'm really happy because low-key so far, all of these things I already started most of them I already started doing before the New Year's. So now I'm just making it a rule and intensifying my direction to go in the direction of these goals. So I'm just very happy that this year really feels like those Instagram reels of like me being in gym on the 1st of January isn't me starting over, it's me continuing my journey. And that's how I feel. I feel all of these habits, they really aren't new. They are built on all the habits and routines and experiences I had in the past. So I am continuing my journey. There's only, I think, not even a few, yeah, there's only a few things that are like brand new, which honestly made me feel upset because I never had this before. Every time I would start something on New Year's, it would be like brand new. So in a way, I feel like, oh, I'm not being creative enough. But maybe I'm just being a very good version of myself. And even though I'm being very hard on myself, being like, yeah, I was a disappointment in the September to December of 2025, I think there was still something going on. So female friendships, so excited. And actually on the New Year's, it was the first New Year's or the first any celebration. You know how in celebrations you just like send like text to your loved ones being like, hey, thank you so much for being part of this year. Or like on your birthday, you receive those actually. Yeah. Or whenever someone has a birthday, you just send them a text. So I feel like that's what I was doing. I never done this before. I would usually just receive like phone calls from my family members if we are away and they would be like, Happy New Year's. But this time, the minute it hit midnight, I voice messaged so many voice memos to people I'm really scared to say that we are friends because I feel like we don't know each other that well. And in those old voice memos, I was saying, thank you so much for being my friend, which is a huge thing to me. It's really hard to open up in this way to me, saying that we are friends. So it's like, thank you so much for being friends. And to some people I don't even know more than like 3 weeks, I said, I love you. And actually in every single message, I said, I love you. Thank you so much for being my friend. I hope we're going to have a great time in 2025 and 2026. Thank you so much for being part of my 2025. That was great. Me saying I love you and like highlighting the fact that we are friends, I feel like that was the most vulnerable thing I've done in a while. And I'm just so happy and so proud. I could start crying right now. Like, I'm just so happy because the younger me would be very self-conscious about saying those things. So, and maybe those people did think like, oh, that's so weird. We're not even that close. But like, that's me saying that we should be closer because I literally told you I love you. And I do on some level. Like, I wouldn't be hanging out with you if you were not special to me in some way. Does it make sense? Moving on. I already started writing a very exciting poem before the New Year. So again, before the New Year's, I started and I'm going to continue working it, in which I'm really, really putting lots of research. And I've been reading this magazine that my best friend gifted me on the New Year's, in which they've been interviewing a writer. And he says that whenever he writes, he has a painting in front of him and one song, only one song. I usually listen to like a couple of songs, like a playlist. But the idea of having a painting, and I intuitively did this, like I written a poem, very like drafty one. And I was like, okay, I want to find some visuals to help me guide this on Pinterest. But the idea of having one painting and a song was a really cool idea because I low-key did this with one of my short writings where when I started writing it, this song started playing in my, oh my gosh, headphones. So, and it just hit the spot. So I was like replaying the song like millions of times until I finished writing the piece. So that's really, really what I want to try. And I want to experiment more with writing something that is more authentic to me. This is definitely not what I've been doing before, and just let go of the idea you have to write a lot, but rather put effort in what I write, even if it's just a little bit. And it started with poetry. And I've been doing so much research for this poem and trying to see any philosophical connection, any psychology connections, because that's what I really want to do. I really do want to use writing medium as a way of combining all of my interests, because writing with the idea, with an understanding of psychology, with the way human mind works, would be able to give my writing really like human realism. So that's like the biggest goal, to write realistically, to write that you would feel it, that you would experience whatever I'm talking about. And yeah, I just also saw this reel where it was like a man in his maybe 50s and he's writing a book and he was traveling with his family, and his, I think, daughter or maybe granddaughter was recording him, like writing, and he would be carrying like little books with him and notebooks. And the idea of writing in a notebook when you're writing a novel or a short story or a poem, whatever, this is what I used to do like when I was a kid, when I didn't have a computer, when no one was like using computers that much, that's what I would be doing. And I really had a crush out when my dad was like, oh yeah, like you should start writing on computer, it's going to be more efficient. Even though I enjoyed writing on paper this much and I know computers so much more efficient, and that's obviously where my final piece is going to be. But I feel like there is something very poetic about writing on paper, and I literally have lots of notebooks, so I have a journal. So why don't I do this? And I actually like I have a notebook and a better notebook on my notes app, where I keep all of my school notes, not the notes app, just like a separate app where I do my notes for school. And I just started doing research there, and I feel like it's good because I still kind of write, and it's safe, digitalized, and I can add pictures and links. So that's what I'm doing right now. I have like maybe 4 pages there, and I don't know why I haven't approached writing in the way I would approach novel writing, because novel writing I would approach from, okay, I wrote a novel, I wrote it off, and now let's really explore the characters, let's edit it, let's make mind maps of who the characters are, let's make vision boards, let's make Pinterest boards, let's do the research, let's look into theory. Like I never do this for short writing. Short writing I usually just wrote, reread, a little bit changes, done. And I think this is one of the things that IB taught me, the like amount of work, like genuinely endless amount of work that could go into one piece. Like I literally doing my HL essay in English right now, and I think I'm on draft 7, if not 8. And it's crazy because I could keep going, just rewriting and polishing until it's perfect, even though it can never be perfect. So I'm just playing around with this idea and trying to see if I can go beyond and further with my writing, if it will make sense, if it will make my writing better, if I just make tons of drafts and put so much effort into it, like it's a proper novel rather than a 2-page poem. And we're gonna see how that's gonna go. So excited, although I think I've been more like fantasizing about it rather than doing it. So this is really, really my time to start the action instead of just going over and over it in my head. Mindset, spirituality, everything. I've been in the surrounding of my best friend for I think 3 weeks now. Now I'm home, but like before that for 3 weeks I was just around her, in her aura, and I just love being in her atmosphere. I just love to be surrounded by her vibe, sorry for the use of word, because it makes me so inspired to be in her presence, to be in her room, to be with her. The way she makes me feel, the way she makes me improve and want to be the best version of myself is amazing. And she really gave me a big hint of how I want to treat myself, and how I want to behave, and what mindset I want to have, and how I want to approach life. So shout out to my best friend. But also like seriously, like the biggest thank you to you for doing this to me, for showing me how sweet life could be. To be in your presence is the biggest lesson I could learn right now. And I just can't thank you enough for being there for me and just letting me be in your presence. So the mindset is definitely to do whatever my best friend's doing and think about her mindset whenever I'm getting stuck, taking more breaks, taking more care of myself, expanding my soul, which was outlined in everything I said before, just learning history, like journaling more. And I know it's very vague and you wouldn't understand without a context, but this is very, very vulnerable. And I'm being vulnerable right now by saying all this, so I don't feel the need to justify it or clarify anything. Moving on to sports, I'm so excited about this. Because I don't think, well, obviously I haven't been doing much of the sports. I've joined the volleyball team, which is like the reason I'm still doing sports, is volleyball, because I have to show up and I have a team and I have responsibilities. So that's great. I absolutely adore it. I love volleyball, the best sport ever. So But for 2025, oh my God, you see, like I'm really haven't switched yet. So for 2026, I just want to try as many things as possible. I want to have experiences. I want to be amateur of all, master of none, something like this. I really want to have experiences and get to know people through sports. So obviously volleyball, I want to keep going. I want to learn how to serve overhead, even though I've been having progress with that. I just want to perfect it and obviously put some power into it. I want to learn how to set overhead. I've been also doing this naturally. Like, I'm not gonna get a story because I oh my gosh, like I'm so excited that all of this I already been trying to do, and now it's just the matter of time and how much effort I put into it. So volleyball, I want to keep going. Ice skating, it's also my second year of doing it. I'm doing it only like in the winter and then in the beginning of spring, but then like the ice skating stuff closes, so I really can't. But this time I want to properly, I'm not sure I will be able to afford ice skating lessons because they're so expensive, but go to ice rink a couple of times and try to learn a routine, because I've been feeling insecure. I've been on ice like 3 times already, but every single time I've been feeling insecure. Don't want to get into that, but I really want to have the time to myself on ice, relax, and not think what others are thinking and just focus on myself. And maybe a routine's gonna help that with that. So maybe that also would pinpoint to the idea that I want to become more flexible and get back into being flexible, because I did gymnastics for 6 years, and I did try to pick up gymnastics like 2 years ago, or maybe 1 year ago. I'm so lost. So we'll see how that's gonna go, because you do need to be flexible for ice skating, or at least figure skating. And we're gonna see which is gonna go with the flow and see where that leads me. Heel dancing, stop. I really want to have a hobby. I'm not sure how, I don't think it's gonna be possible to do long term because so darn expensive, but doing a sexy hobby like heel dancing, and I also have pole dancing, would be crazy amazing. Like, I just want to experience that kind of sport that would embrace the sexuality, the female sexuality, and would help me feel sexy, and I could just have fun with my body without being objected, because it's a girl's environment. And I'm just so excited because I also have issues with self-objection, self-sexualization, and male validation. So I feel like by expressing all of this, my sexuality in a healthy way, aka through heel dancing, through pole dancing, I will be able to express this part of me, let it out in the most healthiest way possible. Also, I always imagine my 20-year-old self like doing cool stuff like this. Like, imagine how cool it is and how energized it would make me feel. So I was like, why would I wait until I'm 20? So this is on the to-do list. And also, never been a fan of cardio, but for 1 year, I think, for 1 year or maybe 2 years, I've been having this itch every late spring and in summer to start running. So I feel like that's what's gonna happen this year. I'm gonna get into running. I'm not gonna running. I'm just doing it because I like it in that time of the year. And then winter hits and I'm like, hell no. No. So that's the type of cardio I'm gonna be doing this summer and this spring, maybe. But what I have on my goals is that dance cardio. I really want to get into dance. First of all, because I suck at dancing and it really shows at the parties. So I want to fix that. But also, why haven't I thought of this? Why did I have to see a reel on Instagram to get this idea? But basically, I saw this girl who was doing this really cool dances, hip hop dances, sexy dances, like any type of dances from YouTube as her cardio. There are obviously channels that are doing this because this is so cool. And I really want to try that because cardio, but also dancing, and hopefully I'll be able to pick up some moves. And I'm going to be closing this off with a podcast. So happy because I'm already doing this. I already talked in a previous episode of my entire journey of podcasting. So I just want to highlight the fact that it's going to be more authentic this year. Hopefully it's going to be more consistent. And I'm just so excited to be here and to be expressing myself this way. I'm definitely cutting down on the activities, like hobbies I'm doing this year and being more intentional with whatever I'm doing. One of it is podcasting. I feel like I'm not going to be as intense on YouTubing this year. If I get an idea and I feel like YouTube medium as film is the most effective way to capture the idea, obviously I would do it, but it's not like I'm going to be, say, planning on my to-do list, do YouTube today, but podcast is going to be on my to-do list. I'm not so sure about blogging because I did start blogging over the summer, but right now it's mostly creative writing, and I guess I'll just post it on my blog and we'll see how that's going to go. But podcasting becomes the number one priority. And it's been over 60 minutes and I still have to do my studies. So thank you so much for choosing to spend your time here. Out of everything you could have done, thank you so much.